Yo, we are so entrenched in this coke rap renaissance. We got Westside Gunn recruiting honorary Griselda members to drop more coke rap albums. As if they don't drop like 50 of them a year, but hey, y'all know the channel, y'all know me. I'm here for it. Westside Gunn been calling himself the best curator in the game, and I ain't mad at it. Dude has a ridiculous ear for beats. I feel like he don't miss at times. He go years at a time without picking a bad beat. This will be an interesting pairing for sure. Nack's an artist who I think is talented, but he's an artist that I prefer in doses as opposed to full projects from him. What he does super well is he has a super unique out-of-the-box flow. It especially stands out when he's over more abstract beats. That's where it really gets mesmerizing. The reason I say I prefer him in doses is some of his albums feel like they have one gear to them, and then in my humble but still critical opinion, I think he can go long stretches without saying a captivating line. But this will be a real good opportunity for him to have a breakout album. I think Westside Gunn normally brings the best out in artists. This will certainly be Nack's most popular project to date. Let's see if they can deliver.
So Duggan grabbed the man and threw him back out on the porch, and then got his .44 Magnum and waited until police arrived. Kind of an amazing story.
Yeah, this is the type of beat I want to hear Nack over. This joint sound like a stuck in traffic type beat. It's probably my sign to start back my Duolingo Spanish lessons.
In the house, a rap soldier, he the sole controller. Burn the pistons on both for motor. Smack
album smelling like coke right out the gate.
Broke a sober. It's in the coffee, won't expose the odor. Cut it, need a gram just to hold a motor.
I do like the coke talk.
With Oziola in the tub, duffel bag, money out the Brinks truck.
Dog, he just switched out of it, but he was killing those old alliterations in the opening lines. The flow is sick for sure, but it's really alliteration that make it sound really smooth.
Sleeping on the couch, still a house sold, half a key, recipes the big, still a half flown rapper. Mall Street, legendary.
The storytelling pretty good right here. Street legend, jazz fan, blow their pipes, the crack pipes. I like that.
Nasty Nabisco, Nack, Daddy, Dino, Desert Eagle, Saza, Denny, DeVito, Demi, Lovato, Zone, Debo.
That rhyme scheme right there is hard, and then I like that Desert Eagle Big as the Vino line.
Vultures and seagulls, we roll deeper than the post people.
I like that pump line too. Hey, that song right there, James Harden doing his step back. That's playing to your strengths right there. That's exactly the type of song I'm trying to hear from Nack. Super off the wall beat. You had that single horn. The way that it was looped, it was like a half beat too late, which gave it this uneasy off kilter feeling. And I thought that played right into Nack's signature off kilter flow. Vivid street talk from Nack too. Alliterations were crazy on top of the good rhyme schemes. Sick song. This is MASSMONEYWIRES. Rock with this beat. For some reason, they don't have the production credits on this album, but those strings in the background that really have this siren type sound to them, that's really like a signature style that producers like DJ Muggs and Derringer really perfected. It made the whole beat sound grittier. I rock with this.
Drop the bass top, box in the shot. Younger with body on more than 7 glocks, men and 9. Who's that? Mr. Rigardi never gonna save you. Griselda plus 23 incredible labels flipping tables. Back in the day, trapping, I used to
playing with his A sound.
Cables daily back in the roof.
With the sable, with the white girl, that's hard.
Drop flash, stop the capping. Talk about trapping, really ain't got jack, son. I'm melting the powder like side wax, son.
Drop back 2-syllable back to back, hard.
Running through more products than energizing batteries, yo. Urban art.
That's kind of light, but I kind of like it.
White people often buy galleries, cut a brick of the soft and dry gradually.
Talk that gentrification-ish.
Looking for spots to hide it. With water like Poseidon, no sides.
With water like Poseidon, the god of sea.
Dominican plug it below, key, you know the steez, son.
It's a good chorus.
I don't burn bridges, I burn trees, son. See the fabric, she light, you know what I'm saying? Either, man, what is bond?
Yo, is this nigga gonna rap? Now would be a great time to start rapping.
Sip of whiskey, my nigga.
Yeah, Westside Gunn that rubbed off on these niggas.
I'm not sure what you consider, that's not. bite your fucking face off, you idiot.
Yeah, dang, for some reason I was thinking Al Divino might not even have a verse. That right there, that was like the barber. Y'all know these barbers, the barber who want to talk while they cut your hair, but they ain't really too good at multitasking. They want to look at you for eye to eye and talk instead of cutting your hair. That's what just happened right there.
Pussy whipping like Molotov markers, mark my words, you want the bodega. Park the Porsche, doing homework. Little bro bunch jumped off the porch. Light him up like loose through Porsche. Chino, Desert Eagle, Diesel, Debo, your whole shit.
Some of these punches is basic. That Newport's punch. She had a couple other ones too.
We know, dropping downs on your people when it.
Hey, his delivery is on point though.
Shine like sun rays. Boy.
Shine like sun rays. That's what I'm talking about. Alright, that one was pretty tough too. That's a sick beat. I mentioned how that style reminded me of Muggs. As a matter of fact, that beat reminded me a lot of the Muggs beat Big Money off that Ma'am Lauren tape from earlier this year. But I already talked about those siren sounding strings, but I also like that little piano chord that played. Nice little switch up from the drumless song a song before. As far as the verses, I like Nack's verse a lot better than I like Divino's verse. They both had a fire flow, but the difference between the two flows, in my opinion, on this song, Nack had the internal rhymes and the alliterations. Divino had a super charismatic delivery, but some of his lines came off a little bit light on top of not being as technically sound as Nack's verse was. I do like the aggression from Divino's verse. Nack went back and forth between the street talk and then the braggadocio. I liked his part of the song and I like that chorus a ton. Good song overall. This is Bonductor, We Have a Problem. My boy Conductor is affiliated now.
One of my plugs got hooked to the drug, but fuck it, he still supplies shit vibrant. Hop on a plane whenever I need to fix a climb. Boy like Kobe Bryant, God shooting up Mount Zion. Find something.
That twang guitar came out of nowhere.
Rolling the window up, smothered with crazy bitch with saliva, switch side. I'm the true and living God, so how the fuck think I respect the dead rider? Palabra, sayonara, nigga, late night, sipping Modelo, son, I'm still getting right. Baby girl.
I swore this beat was gonna change into something else. I didn't know he was gonna keep it here with just this bass guitar.
In the building, born him at Bailey Circus, a whole lot of different tricks, shaking ass and titties, baby, for real, it's no politics. Hey, gotta give these niggas some rocks too, my nigga, that's enough shake. 10-hour shifts without taking a bath for lunch break, son. Predatory loans taking better.
That lib is hilarious.
Bitches with titties out, bagging products off a conveyor belt. Medio go la peladera.
He said he had the girls bagging topless off the conveyor belt. For some reason, that reminded me of that Jadakiss music video. I can't remember which one it was, but it had the literal dog on the treadmill. Somebody gonna remember what video that was.
Shit, I just put the tip, shorty said she loving the way it felt.
That song was alright. I don't think that's the best way to use Conductor's talents. Conductor is one of the best producers in the game. Matter of fact, I thought he was producer of the year last year. I do like how they looped the sample. It was similar to the first song where they was looping it like a half beat off to give it this off-kilter feel. But if they're gonna use a minimal sample like that, they should at least use a more interesting one. That was a basic progression from a simple bass guitar. I did like the little guitar that came in every like 8 bars, but I don't think that was enough to carry the beat. Pretty good rapping from Nack. Oddly enough, he had like a circus line midway through his verse, and the song gave me the feeling of he was describing this trap house, but it was so much going on from the girls, women partying there that it gave it this like circus feel to the song, or at least a circus feel to that environment that he was describing. I ain't love the song though. It was alright. This is ANGELDIOR. God dang. No, I'm feeling this a lot.
Trying to execute a vision, my nigga. I've been a dreamer. Shit is booming like Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
Come on, man. My boy hitting the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Come on. He hitting the scales.
Get when I'm in between, I keep playing, and I'm probably gonna turn her just like Tina.
Alright, I don't need the Tina Turner line. That was cool like the first 5 times I heard it.
4-5 Smith and Wesson, blacker than a lot of dark men, 50 rock. Business poppin' just like a park jam. Love wild limb mass, heartlands, addicts in Cali, Sally stepping niggas, blowing their weapons like clarinet. Had them sweating.
Blowing their weapons like clarinet. Come on, man. I expect better.
Peace, God, please pardon my sins. 5% start building niggas like them again. Jumping in the gym, scuff knuckles like Timberland.
Hey, he in his conscious bag right now.
And in their vein like insulin. One of them died and came back.
Well, not like Common and old Lupe Fiasco conscious, like Third Eye Open conscious.
Come get with the crowd, please be. I just got me this heater. I'm eager to let it go. A nigga say it's up when he see me.
Yo, this nigga said the word ad lib as an ad lib. Did I just hear that right?
Just got me this heater on me, gotta let it go. A nigga say it's
That's so ignorant.
low. Of course, I make a better friend if you was, so I get them low.
Hey, that song was kind of gas. I think it was between that and NACKMANCOLETRANE on the best song of the album. Lyrically, I think it was probably a slight notch under NACKMANCOLETRANE and MASSMONEYWIRES. He had a couple of light bars in here, and his lyricism wasn't quite on the level of those first two tracks. But dog, the beat, insane. That sample was mesmerizing. It was really textured too. They had these like yells, like vocal yells in the background that made the beat feel eerie. And then I like those punchy drums on here too. Love the chorus, man. Y'all think auto-tune make vocals sound better? Nah, singing about coke make vocals sound better. I don't make the rules, but bad singing about coke gonna make you sound like American Idol. That song's tough. This is GREENCELOPHANE.
Metal K, sing you niggas a sweet serenade, heaven made. Baby, come out of seat, negligee. Supreme renegade, any days. Bitch, pussy stink. I'm Bill Clinton, still hit the shit, but I ain't inhaling. Whether mommy from Medic.
You living a wild life, my boy.
Averex jacket, A to C Alcatraz. Shit locked.
I like this rhyme scheme.
Naughty break, yeah, your stash, I'm pursuing the paper fast.
Fashion talk.
Hating ass niggas mad, they can't erase a disgraceful past.
Man, he's back to back with his 3-syllable rhyme scheme. Almost every single syllable is rhyming right now.
We fast and furious niggas, shouldn't race for cash. I made a good run and back to the hood with Stacy Dash. I used to jam from the
Had a good run, Stacy Dash, talking about he brought a girl back, and then Dash run, play into the Fast and Furious line a couple lines before.
Then I finally sold it out of had me silky.
And then Stacy Dash is basically a white girl, so that could be a coke line. I'm just playing about that.
Twist the beat and W feature. Make a trap on the back block before you mad lock.
Y'all know what I said about singing about coke, make it sound good? Scratch that. This don't sound good. Yeah, you know what it is? It gotta be like so bad it's good. It can't just be bad. It gotta be like really bad singing.
You know I slang is selling. Ain't never bang with fellas. I know snitches shooting niggas like you if they say they tellin'.
Of course, some round spin right here.
Put in the danger dwelling. Fuck around if you make it. He facing major swelling.
Look, one or two things gonna have to happen to make this a really memorable album. One, he gonna have to find like a second gear. It's kind of what I was touching on in the intro when I was saying he can kind of go a long time without saying anything memorable. I mean, he had the coke lines, he had the braggadocio, but nothing really stood out, and it gets to the point where it sounds like he rambling, especially if you don't find like a few more flows over the course of the next 10 songs. Either that or the production's gonna have to be like stellar. I thought the beat here was pretty boring. He had a little guitar sample with not much going for it. Nat got into 4-syllable rapping for I think the first time on this album so far. I still don't think it was as good as the first verse though. First verse, he was just getting those pockets where like everything was rapping, so I did prefer the first verse to the second verse. I think because of the beat, the song just overall got more stale towards the second verse, and I didn't really care for the chorus. This is FETTYGUERRERO. I like the name of this song.
Caproni lacking the caption was a closed casket. Reactive control the troll tackle. I for now, we old fashioned, son. Still by the goal line, back in the boat, the snow in the trenches. We scholars gonna roll.
Hey, that's more than old fashioned, that's biblical.
Back in the boat, the snow in the trenches. We scholars gonna balls faction. I need the dough and it's the name you don't mention, the dope stretching. Smoke a letter to the head, consecutive splits. How you pump me with money, doggy?
Ooh, I got on Davino for his first verse. He kind of went off on that one. He just gave a lot more with the syllable manipulation on there. He got in that fast off-kilter rapid fire flow, which is typically what he does when he's on the same song as Nat. Love the beat. Beat was over there sounding like when you go into the dungeon on an RPG game. I think Nat forgot it was his album, forgot to rap on that song, but I rock with it. This is Strawberrymilk.
High yellow bitch, nipples like strawberry milk. Pass the handy white, got me on still calm. Bang on the chest and my balls hanging. 5,000 niggas in my presence, they all ganging. Known to keep raw shit instead of what y'all slinging. Cuddy know his fist when he tested his jaw swinging. These LaVar shape pitching in my new ass clothes. Took a hit, now he flying like a UFO, yo. Nack daddy, why you
gonna have to punch harder than that.
Bitch screaming in my face, I remove that hoe.
Man, if this was the first song, I probably would like it a lot. I'ma just need a little bit more from Nack though. Beat was pretty hard. You had this airy vintage sounding sample. He's had both drumless and boom bap beats that have sounded good. This is another drumless one. As far as Nack though, he had a couple of like funny lines, like the titties like strawberry milk, and he had some line in the second verse too that made me chuckle. He also had a pretty charismatic flow. It's just the substance. I either want him to be more technically sound, like especially in that second verse, contrast where he was pretty much just rapping the end of the line to like how he's playing with alliterations and internals in the first couple of songs. Either that or he's gonna have those like witty punches and wordplay like he had on the first couple of songs too. Neither one of those is really present here. Not a bad song though, it's more the pacing of the album that I'm criticizing right now. This is Knowledge Wisdom.
Knowledge of what? Wisdom. Everything come in what? Steps. 1, 2, 3. It's today's mathematics.
I was basically Westside Gunn giving us AA Rashid in a different colorway. This is We Made History.
Panoramic views out the penthouse.
These keys sound super smooth.
Looking down at the city lights, it feel great. Fiend hit the pipe, then he drifted to outer space. My lawyer beat the fuck out the case. Pussy for bitches, I don't chase. No limits, 9-7, young. Jose Feliciano out the state with Santiago with Juan Hussein.
I like this flow right here.
Past, present, or future, fuck it, the proof is there. Ruger sharing the shell with him.
Playing with his ooh sounds alliteration. This one he in his bag when he adding the alliteration to the flow.
Brock Grams through the air.
Wouldn't mind a standout punch though.
Weak nigga, you wishing that you was here, but you a long way from us, a small way.
That ad lib where he ad libs is probably the greatest ad lib in the history of ad libs.
We the truth, not a mystery.
Smooth sounding instrumental. I think this album so far is definitely sounding different than any Griselda album. The issue is though, I don't think it sounds a ton different than most of Estee Nack's albums. Especially on the rapping side, we just not getting any variety at all. But for what it's worth, the technical rapping did elevate from the last couple of songs. That flow is noticeably better when he's adding those alliterations in. Both the rapping and the production was pretty good on this song. It's just, we about to get pretty good at to death. Look, it's something that a ton of coke rap albums run into. Like when you're gonna rap on this minimalist production and you know what's coming lyrically, at least from a content perspective, pretty good rapping is just not gonna do it. And right now, Nack's verses are just lacking something. I think the best remedy for it would be like to throw some punches in there or flesh out some of this storytelling a little bit more, get a little bit more vivid with it, and see if he can pick it up. This is MINIMANSIONBARTEL.
I don't know how motherfuckers be crying nowadays.
It's super reverbed out piano sound great. And I like the more clear piano under it too. That one. Now I'm thinking, am I even tripping? Is that even a piano? It sounds almost like a gong. I could just be out of reverb on it.
Can't wait to floss on you niggas while you praying on sacred crosses. I'm breaking
5-3 syllables. Playing with that A sound. It's from here in this bag.
County, the Buffalo, run with niggas that act rowdy, you love they dog. I used to wish I was a Huxtable or a nigga from 90210. Then I remember the grind is beautiful, high and numerals.
That's tough. I like that line. I used to wish I was a Huxtable, a nigga from 90210.
Ray Jack, cheddar baby, right Pablo. Gotta pay the price. I got stripes like Waldo. Yo, burn the dope money like
got the stripes like Waldo. That's simple. I like it.
Of the white cargo, my niggas go to war for me like I'm the son of Chapo.
Hey, them niggas raised hell when Chapo's son got arrested.
Check the colors, amazing how we sparkle after every line. Cuddy talking some Don Juan de Margo. Right, Pablo.
Hey, there we go. That song is hard. Love that grainy lo-fi beat. The aesthetic that it gave off, sick. This is some of the best rapping on this album. Nack was in his bag on both verses. The street talk got more vivid on that first verse. He brought back all the alliterations, playing with syllables. Then he took that same rhyme scheme from start to finish on the second verse. He threw the Espanol on there too. I don't even know what he said on some of them bars, but it was like that scene from How High when he's like, don't nobody say that near not like you say that near not, and I still don't know what it mean. I don't nobody do that Espanol like Nack do that Espanol. Still don't know what it mean. This is TALCOMMANDO. I'm just throwing syllables in there. This is TALCOMMANDO.
Had to whip out the crock pot, switch the pants, Switzerland, Russian guns in the whip as if the shit you damn. First nigga get out of hand, he gets a 10.
What did that nigga say? Yo, if he said what I thought he said, that was hard.
Switzerland, Russian guns in the whip as if the shit you damn. First nigga
what? So where did that come from? Russian guns in the whip like it's Sudan. Like Russia is supplying Sudan with the guns and they got a conflict going on right now, I think. And then Russia like rushing the guns in. I don't know where that came from, but that might have been the best part of the album. That's hard.
After he rolled up in the old rug, pull the plug. Thunder bang, no thank you. We not thumping with no thugs, so jug. I ain't
talking grimy.
Bitch, pussy kinda stink. Shit ruin my whole buzz.
Yo, this like the second or third girl he done mentioned that smelling like Captain D's. He might need to reassess a bit. As if it wasn't enough rambling on this album.
2025, that's gonna be my shit, nigga.
Mind you, this nigga retired like 2 years ago. Pretty good beat. It wasn't the best beat on this album, but I do think that guitar sample was pretty interesting. Nack had a crazy Russian sedan bar, but outside of that, I think it was run-of-the-mill rapping from Nack. The song honestly would be fine, but this album is too long. And I alluded to it earlier, but y'all probably wonder how I can sit here and listen to like Benny the Butcher or Westside Gunn go for 50 minutes and why it's different for Nack going 50 minutes. But there's just not enough versatility on this to carry an album for 50 minutes, and he's not on that elite pen level. He's flashed it a little bit, but he's not on that same rapping bar for bar level that like a Benny the Butcher's on. The song will be fine in a vacuum, but the overall trajectory on the album is slowly creeping down. This is Vanilla Skies. Oh, I like this beat a lot.
Motherfucking menacing, son. You got her way. Pussy ass niggas, I know they won't raid. Shut them down like Blockbuster and Video Craze. Whole case, Top Gunner. Took out his block runner, you can bet your ass it's gonna be a hot summer, boom. Your mans gave up a statement, I suggest he bail it to get protection. Best
This
cut
one
him
is
off
better
from
than deliveries on
affiliates
this
and
album.
connection. Kept his mouth shut, it did his time. We still finished one, now we putting mathematics up in his mind, yo.
I think he's a little bit better when he hones in on one topic, like whether it be the luxury talk or the street talk. When he just focuses on one of them, I think it comes off a little bit better. I think it's because his flow is so scattered. It's better when his topics aren't so scattered. Give it a little balance.
Nunca podía hacerle boca porque todo lo que se transmite a la hora de Dios y así mismito se debe dar de entender que es ley.
D-Smoke on rhythm and flow be like. And for all the complaining I've been doing, this last third of the album has some heat. That was one of the better songs on the album. It started with that beat, that wobbly sound. I have no idea what that was, but that sounded crazy. Then the keys sounded hard as well. The rapping, it is what it is. It's pretty good, but outside of like his best verses on here, most of these other verses are interchangeable. If you heard one of them, you can replace them with the other because there's no standout lines on most of these songs. But regardless, that song was some heat. This is SPACEX.
Meditating medical marijuana, patient hemorrhagic text, definite bad bitches out Texas. Suplex, enemies catch pellets, two text vests, who better the bitches to do my breakfast.
That alliteration,
no for anybody on my guest list, specialist exodus, investment suggestion.
Nah, this ain't normal. When I'm talking about he flash elite rapping, this is it right here.
Pupil dilation, live nation. Dominican niggas divide with Haitians, sent for ancestors, we pouring libation. H2O, you need some hydration.
Look at Mock and Nat getting along.
I used to sell crack for a living, started selling powder dope by the building pill shortly thereafter. You think you moving up, but you running in place like a stairmaster. Fear factor, information, internet, signal inconsistent, you lost niggas in the matrix. La bacaneria celebrate. I be like, quiero que my niggas bringing the bricks by the basement, son.
Boy, niggas bought out the little, what's the little EMT thing that they have that you do like this and then it go clear and then you shot the niggas? Niggas resurrecting this album, bringing that jump out to life. Just last 4 songs. Kind of tough. Look, I was running on fumes. I caught my second wind. Our song was hard. One of the doper beats on the album, it had that spacey, ethereal sample to match the name of the song. And then they had these like heavenly horns under it, kind of replaced what a bass line would have did for the song. Rapping from that was pretty sick. I like the street talk throughout the song. And then he was getting these pockets where like every syllable was part of some kind of rhyme scheme. The nigga on a little hot streak right now. He finna get a team takeover. This is OLDNACKDONALDHADAFARM. It's the most Griselda sounding beat on the album.
Naggman train ride, my lane stay wide. Face diving to Apollo cash. Bitches trying to smash, stop that shit. Final lab, bloodbath, daddy the law, teasing this Pac-Man. White powder creeping with black man.
He's talking grimy too.
Runaways, track athletes, decathlon, you niggas math is wrong. Is that an elephant in a room or a mastodon atom bomb? Old MacDonald had a farm, shit you niggas growing, it ain't half as strong.
That's hard. The elephant to the mastodon flip to the old McDonald had a farm talking about growing weed. That's tough.
Givenchy, bubble bees on the jean coat, fiend slow. My niggas got light, but he keepo. He ain't seen the calendar since 2013. My eyes seen the worst things.
That he ain't seen the calendar since 2013. That's a gritty line. Free that nigga.
Galise, my Teresa looking like a murder scene. Craig Lawrence West looking like they had surgery. I killed niggas 10 years straight and still the dopest.
The patches on them.
Penny in a Louis Vuitton loafer, slide over. Super slime carpet around Jehovah. Pablo Escobar shrine, I'm tired of your style, I'm tired of your rhymes. Shut up and
Yo, is Westside Gunn using alliterations? That nigga in his bag too.
if Ellis High, Eastside Buffalo, Cayenne, frying pants, residue, crack cells for residue, acid around my feet like to put me on a pedestal.
God dang, bro, Nack came back to life on this last third of the album. I think TALCOMMANDO was above average, but the other 4 out of these last 5 songs have been sick. Tough beat. This is more of a beat that you would expect from a Westside Gunn curated project, but that just shows you how out of the box this album has been from start to finish. Even though I've had some issues with it, Nack delivered one of his best verses of the album, and then Westside Gunn, he delivered his usual charismatic delivery, but the technical rapping, on point. Of course, he had to mix the luxury talk with the street talk. That surgery line stood out to me. And overall, hey, they say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Them niggas took that to heart on this album. Man, I'll definitely say this album has some really high highlights. Nack has such a unique flowing style. It's pretty refreshing to hear Westside Gunn curate an album and it sound different from the other albums that he's curated. Nack actually has a really good ear for beats anyways, but I definitely do think he benefited from having Westside Gunn's hand in this beat selection. The only bad beat here to me was the Conductor Williams beat, surprisingly. And you had like GREENCELOPHANE where the beat was kind of stale and maybe one other beat that was just all right. But then you had some really sick ones, and then you had a lot of variety between the beats. You had your boom bap beats, you had your spooky Griselda beats, and then you had that abstract vibe on some of these songs that Nack really excels at rapping over. On the negatives, if Westside Gunn gonna be a curator, this nigga need to know what to cut out. This album was bloated, like really bloated. If this was a 30-minute album, this probably could have been Nack's best project to date. But man, there was a huge lull in the middle of the album. Even though Nack is really unorthodox, he doesn't have a lot of gears and he doesn't have a lot of different flows and styles to get into. So he could have definitely benefited from having some more features. And even with the features that he had, he had 2 Al Divino verses on here. And Al Divino, when they rap together, they rap really, really similar. But overall, this was an enjoyable album. It wasn't looking too hot towards the middle of it, but it really picked back up on those last 5 songs. It's not one of the top albums of the year, but it got some heat on it. I think overall it's like a 7.25 or a 7.5 out of 10, which is a solid album, but it definitely had its very bright spots. This doesn't really change my opinion on Nack that much, but I think this is definitely something he can build on.